right, we kick off straight away with the Guardian newspaper, and on the front page of the paper, we have this late story. States poor idea raises fiscal sustainability concerns. That's from the front page of the Guardian newspaper. And still staying with the Guardian newspaper, Naira for crude. Tinubu seeks stakeholders' understanding as fuel price rises. Okay, we'll move on from that. Federal government seeks regional cooperation against small arms IED threats. And reps query permanent secretary over 1.4 billion naira abandoned road project. Still staying with the Guardian newspaper this morning, reverse internal brain drain with minimum wage. NMA tells governors. And Tinubu, Biden discuss UN security seat orders. And a Kitty lawyer petition NJC overrulings by Nwite. A suspended chairman begs as Agbakuba faults Lagos Assembly's action. Still staying with the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu launches 2024 Armed Forces Emblem Appeal Fund. And Kanu okays 71,000 naira minimum wage as NUT urges wider implementation. Nigeria UAE move to expand trade ties. Federal government raises tribunal to address lapses in building industry. Amateku arrests 20-year-old over alleged murder of elderly woman in Ondo State. And car cleaner sentenced to life imprisonment for defiling minor. Reps refers member to ethics committee over alleged assault on boat driver. And Lagos task force warns against blocking road for events, vows and enforcement. And for some business news on the front page of The Guardian, SEC to create new office for SMEs to raise capital. And stakeholders seek unified digital taxation to boost investment in livestock. And capitalization dips further by 394 billion naira amid losses. And for some politics now, INEC pledges neutrality as protesters seek redeployment of Ondo REC. Osun APC suspends Aregbesola over anti-party activities. Yaga Africa worried over allocation of votes in local government elections. And we move on to the Punch newspaper now. Again, NNPCL hikes petrol price, fixes 1,060 naira per litre. And still staying with the Punch newspaper, 2025 budget, Tinubu submits MTEF to National Assembly next week. MTEF, that's the medium-term expenditure framework, to the National Assembly next week. And 32 states got 55% of revenue from FARC. And CAF confirms dates for Eagles' final AFCON qualifier. Stop ad hoc forex auction, World Bank is telling the CBN. And Dangote forwards fuel import as Tinubu summons Edun Dangote Kyari. And back to some sports stories now. Osimhen rules out January move to Chelsea. And 17 northern states blackout ends November the 12th. This is according to the federal government. And after apology, reps probe Abia lawmaker over Abuja driver assault. And for some metro stories now, Amotekun arrests 27 suspected criminals in Ondo State. South African-based activist jailed 18 months for defaming Anambra businessman. Manogun construction worker found dead with machete wounds. Lagos to prosecute residents hosting events on public road. And judge summons mother for son's cybercrime case. Lagos Calabar Highway, Lagos community homeowners fault route diversion. We move on to the Tribune newspaper now. Global commodity prices set to fall amid oil glut. This is according to the World Bank. And State of State report how Naira devaluation exposed many states to greater financial risk. Fuel queues will disappear if marketers patronize us. This is according to the Dangote refinery. And the Deputy Senate President is saying terrorists preventing electricity restoration to North. We move on to the Nation newspaper now. And Dangote Refinery is asking the NNPCL and marketers not to import fuel. CBN will deploy necessary tools to battle inflation. This is according to the governor of the CBN. And tax panel chair explains VAT sharing on basis of derivation and consumption. We move on to Daily Trust now, and the headline here reads, How Wamako Lamido Supremacy Battle Split Sokoto Traditional Rulers. How Wamako Lamido Supremacy Battle Splits Traditional Rulers. And other stories on the front page of Daily Trust. Equity market reverses gains, shreds 842 billion naira in 2 days. And military intercepts stolen vehicle, hands over to owner in Yobe. Man accused of killing father arraigned. And why northern governors oppose VAT bill, according to Governor Sule. And security agencies not sharing information with one another. This is from a minister. Biden phones Tinubu over Binance executive other issue. And pump price goes up again, hits 1,025 naira in Lagos and 1,050 naira in Abuja. The Leadership newspaper is next sports now. Fuel crisis hold marketers responsible for long queues. Dangote Refinery. From the Leadership newspaper, we move on to this day newspaper, and it's saying to fix Nigeria's challenges, northern elites must fix region's problem. Who is saying this? And that is coming from Deca Lake, Bishop Cardinal John Onaigo. With Naira for crude, Tinubu promises more stability. And still staying with this day newspaper, in 30 minutes phone call, Tinubu Biden seek to deepen partnership in U.S.-Nigeria relations. And the CBN is saying Nigeria ready to use all tools to manage inflation. ECOWAS and EcoBank empower 400 women traders in Nigeria. Assisting with the paper, Minister assures Senate electricity will be restored in the north within 72 hours. And Tinubu meets implementation committee on crude oil product sales in Nigeria. And Governor Yetola is saying federal government signed cargo tracking agreement in error. Yes, our final report here is the Vanguard newspaper. And it leads with the energy story. Petrol price up third time in 60 days as crude price drops. Power will be restored to North in 72 hours, according to the federal government. An NPA halts container release at Apapa port due to severe congestions. Naira appreciates to 1,725 in Para market. Ondo Guba Ganduje Sanwo-Olu rally voters for Aiyedatiwa. And poverty and unemployment are collective resolve tested by ongoing situation. This is according to the governors. APC suspends Aregbesola over alleged anti-party activities. And still on petrol scarcity, we have 500 million liters of petrol in our tanks. This is according to Dangote Refinery. Okay, still staying with Vanguard newspaper. Newlyweds escape assassination attempt on Enugu-Port Harcourt Road. And back to the Bolt driver versus the lawmaker. Assault on Bolt driver. I am embarrassed by my actions. This is coming from the lawmaker in the eye of the storm. And residents flee as flood overruns 11 Delta communities. All right, those are the headlines from across the papers. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we will look at some of the stories in detail. Let's see newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. Please don't go away. The program returns in a moment.
This is Evangelist Professor Ebenezer Obey. I also enjoy listening to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Please keep on listening to the soul of the nation. Thank you.
Olúwami, mo jáde lọ láti ṣe iṣẹ́ òòjọ́ mi. Ìwọ nìkan lèmi ò mọ̀ lọ́rọ̀ lérò.
out on the news during the week? Not to worry. Retrospect is here to make up for the missed information. Retrospect is a complete package of all the major news headlines that made the airwaves from Sunday to Saturday. Join me, Esther Musu, on the program Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Sunday at 6 p.m. Retrospect. We keep you informed.
The issues. Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retire without a roof over his head.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Hussein cannot be divulged from those who cause the crime. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that? He said money was.
I never.
No.
The platform is always the same.
Insight on Citizen FM 93.7.
The source is constant.
My name is Lawrence Umoite.
There is always an opportunity.
Tomorrow, Insight returns with another interesting.
Insight with Lawrence Umoite on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Be part of the experience.
The renewed hope agenda for Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. It is geared towards renewing the hopes of Nigerians for a better future through its policies, Project Average Nigerian, Point 7, Labor House, Central Business. The future starts today.
Shiri woro, shiri santandoro daga efin nilo efin guba. Mito egi shiri nega gagangba na kalugwa ayawo labari mo se yega shitupa.
We are Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. To put to work efficiency, humility, integrity in service delivery. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. Information networking through modern technology and training strategies. Developing structures, 24-hour surveillance to secure lives and property.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7 FM and its newspaper review currently on air now. And welcome to the second half of the show. And this is the part where we look at some of the headlines in details. And we start off from The Guardian. State's poor IGI raises fiscal sustainability concerns. And this is the report. A new report evaluating the fiscal performance of Nigeria's 36 states has unveiled alarming insight. Policy lie on federal funds to meet the operational expenses. Budget is a Nigerian civil organization that applies technology for citizen engagement with international institutional improvement to facilitate societal change. The critical report was unveiled yesterday in Abuja, and the presentation was framed around the theme, moving healthcare delivery from suboptimal to optimal, highlighting the urgent need for improved financial management and healthcare services across the nation. This analysis shed light on the broader implications of fiscal dependency and the challenges it poses for sustainable development in Nigeria. State's poor IGI raises fiscal sustainability concerns. That's from the front page of the Guardian newspaper. All right, still staying with the Guardian newspaper, Naira for crude. Tinubu seeks stakeholders' understanding as fuel price rises. Lagos residents yesterday woke up to another hike in the pump price of petrol. The price adjustment comes despite a recent drop in global crude oil prices from $78 to $72 per barrel. The increase comes more than 1 month after the NNPC commenced petrol lifting at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery after an extended period of price negotiation. Okay, however, President of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, yesterday advised petrol marketers to halt the importation of petrol as his refinery has enough stock to meet the needs of local demands. He said Dangote Refinery presently He spoke at the Presidential Villa Abuja after the implementation committee of the sale of crude and petrol, which had not been supplying its refinery with enough crude. He further lamented that he's running at a loss by storing 500 million of fuel in tanks while Nigerians are growing in the street without petrol. All right, still staying with the Guardian newspaper, Sanwo-Olu denies suing EFCC over alleged arrest plans. The Lagos State government has dismissed reports that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sued the EFCC over an alleged plan to arrest and prosecute him after his tenure. The state government disclosed this in a release signed by the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Pedro. In a release titled Rebuttal, Pedro stated that Sanwo-Olu never at any point instructed any lawyer to file a suit against the EFCC over any move to arrest him. All right, before we leave the Guardian, let's take this story. Tinubu, Biden discuss UN security seat, others. And President Bola Tinubu yesterday received a call from the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. The call, which came at 4 p.m. Nigerian time, lasted for about 30 minutes and centered around the issues of Binance and the United Nations Council permanent seat, among others. This was disclosed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, who briefed newsmen at the Presidential Villa about the development. Tuga disclosed that the discussion by the two leaders centered around the recent release of the head of finance crime compliance at Binance. The American cryptocurrency executive held in Nigeria for the past 8 months was released after authorities announced they were ending his money laundering trial on health and diplomatic grounds. All right, you can call us on our numbers if you have any reaction to any of the stories so far. You can call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205, or you can call us on 0818 2222206. And don't forget that you can also use the WhatsApp. if you want to send a message or make a call. Any of the numbers, we will be glad to attend to you. We move on to the Punch newspaper now. Budget 2025. Tinubu submits MTEF to National Assembly next week. This is according to the Senate spokesman. And the story has it that President Bola Tinubu will submit the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper to the National Assembly next week. The Senate, through its Finance Committee, is set to meet with key stakeholders in the finance sector in preparation for the document submission. The MTEF, a legally required framework, establishes the groundwork for the national budget, guiding economic projections and policy direction. By law, it must be presented to the National Assembly before the budget proposal. Speaking on the anticipated submission, Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu confirmed that the MTEF document would be sent next week. He added that once work on the MTEF was completed, the president followed with the budget presentation. All right, still staying with the Punch newspaper, 32 states got 55% of revenue from FARC. And a new report given by Civic Tech that the budget has revealed that 32 out of Nigeria's 36 states relied on allocations from the Federation Accounts Allocations Committee for at least 55% of their total revenue in 2023. The reports highlights the overdependence of many states on federal transfers, which makes them vulnerable to external shocks, particularly those linked to oil revenue and federal disbursement. Budget 2024 States of States report launched in Abuja contained those findings. The report provides a detailed analysis of states' fiscal sustainability, examining how well they balance internally generated revenue against federal allocation. All right, for some a story on the power sector, the federal government on Tuesday assured of its commitment to speed up the pace of work to restore electricity to all the affected states in the northern region of the country. This was as the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, announced that electricity would be fully restored to the region within the next 14 days. This implies that the region, comprising 17 states, will remain in blackout till Tuesday, November the 12th. Adelabu, while responding to questions from senators at the National Assembly, also said partial restoration will be completed within the next 3 days. All right, staying with the Punch newspaper, there's a story here. After apology, reps probe Abia lawmaker over Abuja driver assault. The House of Representatives on Tuesday resolved to investigate the conduct of the lawmaker representing Aba South, Aba North Federal Constituency, Alex Ikweche, who was on Monday arrested and questioned for assaulting an Uber driver, Stephen Abowateja. The driver was assaulted when he delivered a package to the lawmaker at his Abuja residence. Many Nigerians condemned the development as the video of the incident went viral on social media. The lawmaker was later arrested and questioned by the police for the action, for which he later apologized on Tuesday. The lawmaker caught a humble figure when he appeared before his colleagues at Tuesday's plenary after an earlier public apology tendered. The resolution of the House to conduct an independent investigation followed the adoption of a prayer by the Majority Leader, Professor Julius came under the House privilege. He drew attention to the shameful conduct, noting that the behavior came at a time when the legislative body was doing everything possible to... Okay, I think we have a caller here. Let's see. Hello. Okay, we lost that call. Okay, you can call us again. Call us back on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 810818. That's 0818-2222-205 or 0818-2222-206. And don't forget, you can also make use of the WhatsApp platform. You can call us or you can also send us a message. It's Newspaper Review on Citizen 93.7 FM in Abuja. We're moving on to the Tribune newspaper. Global commodity prices set to fall amid oil glut, World Bank warns. The World Bank has projected energy prices to drop by 6% in 2025 and an additional 2% in 2026. Also, it said the global food prices are set to fall 9% this year and an additional 4% in 2025 before leveling off, but will still leave food prices nearly 25% above the average level from 2015 through 2019. The bank added that from 2024 through 2026, global commodity prices are projected to plummet by nearly 10%. This is contained in the World Bank's latest commodity market outlook released on Tuesday. All right, still staying with the Tribune. Deputy Senate President says terrorists are preventing electricity restoration to the north. He said he disclosed this. He said the reason electricity supply has not been restored to the north was because terrorists had seized the vandalized transmission line supplying power to the region. He said security agencies under the directive of President Bola Tinubu were working around the clock to flush out the terrorists who are taking control of the affected facility. Major states in the north, including Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, have been without electricity as a result of vandalism of the 330 kV LDC transmission line, which takes power to major towns in the north. Senator Jubrin, who spoke on the matter while presiding over the plenary of the Senate in Abuja to normalize the situation. He said there's a quote here at the National talking with the TCN managing director. All right, we move on to the Nation newspaper now, and tax panel chair explains VAT sharing on basis of derivation consumption. A value-added tax is to be shared based on derivation and consumption according to the proposal in the tax bill before the National Assembly. Chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, clarified yesterday. He defended the proposal in the bill, saying it will guarantee fairness and long-standing criticisms of the existing distribution formula. Oyedele was responding to the criticism of the VAT plan in the tax bill by the Northern State Governors Forum and the Northern Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs at their joint meeting in Kaduna. Also yesterday, the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria Commission also rejected North leaders' complaint. The tax chairman said In a write-up in his social media handle, a state that produces food shouldn't lose out because its products are VAT exempt or consumed in other states. He also argued that VAT from services, including telecommunication, should also reflect the location of subscribers, thereby benefiting the states where goods and services originate. Acknowledging the governor's concern, he said the current VAT distribution is flawed. Alright, still staying with the Nation newspaper, Cardozo is saying that the governor of Central Bank, CBN, will deploy necessary tools to battle inflation. The governor of Central Bank, Governor Olayemi Cardozo, yesterday affirmed that the federal government is prepared to deploy all tools to rein in inflation. The CBN, he said, is prepared to use whatever tools at its disposal to manage inflation. Annual inflation in Africa's most populous country accelerated in September for the first time in 3 months, reaching 32.70%, spurred by higher food and energy costs, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Price pressures have been exacerbated by the government's decision to stop the payment of subsidies on petrol and electricity to float the naira. The CBN governor told the FT Africa Summit in London that while he expected headline inflation to moderate in the coming months, food inflation was proving stickier, assuring that the Apex Bank was working closely with the government to address the issue. Nigeria must not slack from its reform drive as it is the beginning to attract growing and serious interest from foreign investors, the CBN governor said. All right, we move on to Daily Trust newspaper now. There's this story here. Security agencies not sharing information with one another. This according to the Minister of Police Affairs. And the federal government has bemoaned non-sharing of classified information and intelligence among law enforcement agencies, saying such developments could hinder efforts to reduce crime. They have cautioned all the security agencies against the approach, warning that the country could not afford to continue employing such a strategy with the present insecurity affecting many parts of the country. Minister of Police Affairs Ibrahim Gaidam handed down this warning at a 3-day workshop in Abuja. The workshop is aimed at fostering inter-agency collaboration on information sharing among law enforcement agencies. Daily Trust reports that there have been clashes among different security agencies with the recent physical combat between policemen and operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Osogbo, that's in Osun State. Speaking during the workshop, Gaidam directed the agencies, which had all their representatives in attendance, to abandon the independent approach and prioritize sharing of classified information and intelligence to effectively combat insecurity. Still staying with Daily Trust newspaper, why Northern governors oppose VAT bill, Governor Sule. The governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, says that the 19 governors under the Northern Governors Forum are against the VAT bill because it will be unfair to the region. The governor stated this during an interview in Lagos, arising from a meeting on Sunday. The NGF, chaired by Governor Inowa Yahaya of Gombe State, had rejected the derivation-based model for value-added tax distribution in the new tax bill currently in the National Assembly. So they said the governors were not against President Bola Tinubu, saying they brought him to power. There's a quote here: "We can't bring in President Tinubu and then oppose him. If you look at the composition of the meeting, you will see that there are people from the APC and the PDP. Some don't even have a political party. We sat down and took the decision together. He says it is very clear. I work for some of these multinationals. I know how VAT is paid. When we are importing raw materials at where I worked before, we paid VAT first, and then the finished product had VAT added to it. Assisting with Daily Trust. Before we leave Daily Trust, how Wamako Lamido supremacy battle split Sokoto traditional rulers. The ongoing political rivalry between Senators Aliyu Wamako and Ibrahim Lamido is taking a new dimension. Senators are locked in a battle to control the All Progressives Congress in Sokoto, with Wamako regarded as the party's leader and godfather of the current governor, while Lamido seeks to undermine Wamako's influence and seize the reins. This feud, which has already polarized Sokoto's political landscape, now appears to be drawing traditional rulers into its fold. Daily Trust observed that some traditional figures are aligning themselves either with Wamako or Lamido, deepening the crisis within the APC. Lamido's faction has threatened to unleash a new national party leadership structure to, in their words, rescue the APC from Wamako's dominance. We move on to the newspaper here, and we see this: to fix Nigeria's challenges, Northern elite must fix region's problem on Naikon. The Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, Cardinal John Naikon, has challenged the Northern elite to fix the economic, political and security crisis in the region as a way of fixing the country's problems. Naikon spoke when the League of Northern Democrats, led by former Governor of Kano State, Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, paid him a visit. The Cardinal, who commended the LND for championing a Northern Renaissance, challenged them to inquire why there was too much poverty and insecurity in the northern states when compared to the southern part of the country. He added that there is no room for one section of the country to be lagging behind. What it does mean is that the entire nation should be interested in what you people are doing, if for no other reason but for what they normally call enlightened self-interest. He stressed the need for all regions of the country to move together, adding that these doors are always open to leaders from other parts of the country who share the same interest of ensuring good governance. All right, we move on to the Vanguard newspaper before we wrap it up. APC suspends Aregbesola over alleged anti-party activities. The All Progressives Congress in Osun State has suspended former Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, over alleged anti-party activities. In a resolution submitted to the APC National Secretariat and addressed to the National Chairman, Dr. Omar Ganduje, the Osun APC accused Aregbesola, former governor of the state, of creating divisions within the party by establishing a splinter faction. The APC in Osun claims that Aregbesola's actions have fueled internal divisions, with party leaders asserting that his influence on certain groups has caused significant discord. This suspension marks a decisive action by the party's state chapter to address perceived disloyalty and realign its leadership ahead of future elections. Further responses from Aregbesola's camps are awaited as the situation unfolds. All right, thank you so much. That's the much we can take on the show today, and tomorrow will be another day. My name is Lawrence Moite. Enjoy the rest of your day.
The first time I came to New York, I used to think New York was like heaven on earth.